Hello there and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad to have you guys back. Today I'm going to be talking about how to ask for what you want and how to tell him what you want and when to tell him what you want. So if you want to know how to communicate to your boo or to your potential bae, and you want to make sure that you ask without being offensive or getting him to do a runner, then you want to be watching this video. Before you do anything, before I go any further, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't already. And well, you can like and comment at the end, because you're gonna like it, right? Okay. So this video is really about how and when to tell a guy what you want. I think we live in a society and at a time right now where men rejecting and doing a runner is probably a woman's worst nightmare. And I think that men, Steve Harvey says so, they know our deep fear of rejection and them running, and so they play on that a little bit. But in reality and in essence, most men just want to be clear about what you want so that they can make a decision, so you can make a decision. Now, the most important thing is not so much how to ask a guy for what you want as much as it's when to ask a guy for what you want. And I believe that the best time ever to tell a man or ask a man for what you want is in the beginning of a relationship. That initial dating phase where that person is still trying to impress you. They still want to be the best version of themselves for you. They haven't got themselves familiar. They're still trying to win you. But also it's important because it's a time when your emotions are not emotionally, you're not yet deeply entangled. And if you watch my other video, how to deal with rejection, you will know that you wouldn't have emotionally gone there with them. So you are really starting off from a clean place. You're in the moment, you're enjoying the moment with this person, and you haven't gotten yourself emotionally entangled to this person. So if the idea of them running when you've just gone on the first or second date is hardly going to be the end of the world. Of course, you may have been excited about them. They may have been the guy that you've been looking for, whatever. But the reality of the matter is, if they can't give you what you want in the beginning, they're not going to change their minds later. And this is a thing that we do as girls where we tell ourselves, he'll change his mind when he gets to know how amazing and wonderful I am. He will change his mind about the kids. He will change his mind about marriage. He will change his mind about dating and being in a relationship. He will change his mind. And I've had guys say to me, well, you could be the girl that changes my mind. I'm like, dude, I ain't about that life. Okay. I ain't about that life. And it ain't that kind of party. I am not trying to change anybody's mind. I'm just trying to find me a man who wants the things that I want, who is in synergy with me. So I'm not trying to ain't that kind of party. So when is the right time, on a date? If you know who you are and you set your standards, which is something that we've discussed in one of my other videos, and you know that you're looking for a relationship, you're looking for something committed, you're looking for something stable with that person, then you are going to say, to them, in the first date or first couple of texts before you even meet them, I always sort of ask the question, and this I got from Michael Fiore, I believe. His Text the Romance Back is really good. You should get a hold of it. And it's really good for people who are already in a relationship, I think. But he does have a bit at the end that talks about people who were initially dating. But in that whole program, I think it's incredible. There's so many nuggets you can pick up in terms of just understanding a man's psyche. And some of the questions, I really love the questions. I think I bought it just for the questions. And one of them is, if I was a genie and I could do anything and it could grant you 3 wishes, what would they be? I mean, they're great questions. I mean, there are loads more in that program. I think it's about 40 quid. I'm not sure. But if you Google it, if I can find the link, I'll put in the description box for you. And basically, if I could, if I were a genie and I could whatever, what would your 3 wishes be? And of course he will sort of give you his 3 wishes, which really is really good because it helps me sort of figure out a man's priorities, what is most important to him right now at this point. If he says he wants to go on holiday and he wants to buy his new home, whatever, it gives me an idea of where he is, because those questions so trigger that innate sort of thing in the back of your mind, but it also gives him a chance to ask you what you would want. And in that question, in my reply, I have already stated that my 3 priorities, and I'm handing it over to him. So you don't have to be like I want a relationship, I don't want any players, I don't want anybody wasting my time. It ain't that kind of party. You can do it in a way that is sassy and cute and intelligent, but very clear and not hesitant. So one of the things that I say is I'm looking to, I'd wish to meet and marry the man of my dreams. So he instantly knows that I'm not here just for a good time. I want to meet somebody special. I want to marry that person, and they have to be the person of my dreams. It doesn't have to be your behind. It just has to be, this is what I'm looking for in general. So they will know, actually, this chick is about getting married and I ain't about that kind of party. And usually they bail out, which is good by me, or they try and talk me into their let's just see how it goes thing. But that ain't gonna work for a girl like me, because I ain't got time for that. So, it lets me let them know what I want. And, when you are on a date and the guy says, so what do you want? And sometimes they text you, say, what are you looking for? Just be real. Like, I'm looking for a boyfriend. I'm looking to be in a long-term relationship. I'm looking to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have 10 kids. This is the best time to tell a man what you want and actually let him run. And I have a run test. I will give a man all the information that usually makes men run, because I know that if he's the real deal, he's going to stick around and say, maybe this is the girl that I might want to make that effort for. So first and foremost, get rid of the fear of a man running. The truth of the matter is, if he was going to run, he's going to run now, or he's going to run later when your emotions are involved. Another thing as well is, if you want whatever it is that you want, I was joking with some guy and I want to date with him, and somehow the conversation got into marriage and kids and whatever, and it says, oh gosh, we've just met and we've already sorted out our wedding where we'll get married. And I was just sort of with having a laugh, and I said, oh my gosh, and we haven't discussed Tiffany's. He almost choked his drink. It was so funny, but it was my way of saying, look, I don't want just any old ring. Like, I want a great ring. Like, I really want a great ring. Okay, I will forfeit a wedding any day of the week. I will forfeit the big dress any day of the week. But I really just want a really great ring. I have this thing. So I was letting him know that if we ever got to that point, I don't want and then I went down the corner and got a ring for you. I want like a rock from Tiffany's, And, it's just one of those things. So, there is a way that you can communicate your desires to somebody. Some of the phrases, like if you would like, if a guy says, okay, let's meet up in whatever, near his home, and you don't want to do that much traveling, you can just say, look, I'd feel more comfortable if we met blah, a place that you're more comfortable. Because one of the things with guys is they respect a real sort of guy who's really interested in making you happy. He's going to respect that you don't want to meet around his hood, where he lives, and he's worried about your comfort levels. Because remember, a masculine guy and a good guy knows that his job is to provide, protect, and to cherish. So that cherishing part, and when I've done that, I've had guys drive from halfway across England to come and see me, and they're like, when you said you weren't comfortable, I respected that, because he wants you to be comfortable, he wants you to be happy. So using that phrase, I'd feel more comfortable if you paid the bill, I'd feel more comfortable if we went here, I'd feel more comfortable if you let me pay, I'd feel more comfortable if I drove myself, I'd feel more comfortable if you drove us to the date, I would feel more comfortable. That's a really great phrase to use when you're asking a guy to do something that you would want him to do without coming across as bossy and high maintenance and I want this my way. This is such a great phrase to use. Another great phrase to use is to ask permission. Would it be okay if we did A, B, C, D, F, G? Would it be okay? I had a guy once, I'm not keen on Italian food. I love Italian food, but it has to be homemade by an Italian person. Otherwise, I really don't enjoy that restaurant-y food, or I've not been to a great Italian restaurant that I just totally love that feels like home-cooked food, because I used to have an Italian friend who used to cook for me. It's amazing, and it just doesn't taste the same. So, you know, this guy was going on a date. He'd done his research online, and he, you know, found a restaurant near me, and it was Italian. I knew it, and I knew it was a bit dodge, but I didn't want to say, look, can we not go there, because I didn't want to underestimate his sort of whatever. So I said, would it be okay if we went to this other place? And he was fine, because when you say, would it be okay, you're asking that person for permission, and it's not something that you just use. And people like to be asked permission. They like that. And if you're in a relationship and you want to talk about something really important in your relationship, or bring up something that is really important. I know Steve Harvey's like, when a woman says we need to talk, like a man just wants to run, like you trigger his running, you know, ability. So in a situation like that, you want to be able to say, look, you know, honey, is this a good time? And this is something that I learned from, I think, Matt Boggs. He mentions this in one of his videos, and I think it's just so powerful when you ask them, is this a good time for us to do A, B, C, D? Because it just shows consideration, and it just opens him up to be, okay, this is a good time, or it's not a good time, it's not a good time, when is a good time? Because one of the things I've learned in my research is men want respect, they crave respect. And we all want respect, but men more so. They would rather be respected than loved. And they see respect as love. So when you are speaking to a guy and you use these phrases and these words, you heighten his need for respect, and you can just ask for anything. I mean, anything that comes out of your mouth after would it be okay, or is this a good time, or I'd feel more comfortable, chances are it's going to be well received. Very rarely is a real gentlemanly guy going to be like, no, what, I don't want to do that. So don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Don't let society tell you, you know, if you tell him you want to have kids or get married, blah, 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 he's just going to run, or play silly games. My thing is, just say what you want, tell him what you want, do it respectfully, do it, you know, fun, cheeky, flirty kind of way, but make sure that the message has been received, and let him respond either by his actions or by his words. And if he's like, no, it's not really in my cup of tea, I just want to have a good time, then you know what? Enjoy the evening and go about your business, or send back the text and say, you know what, it's not what I'm about. Because negotiating a deal at the beginning is more important than negotiating it. It's more effective, let's put it that way, than trying to negotiate that deal midway or mid-flow. So that's my advice to you, is don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Don't be afraid to ask for what you want as quickly as possible, because then you're not gonna kind of get some guy involved in you and buy into you, and then when he's into you, you decide, well, I want this, and the other, and you sort of ambush him with your wants, and then you get disappointed when you can't meet those wants. So my advice to you, young ladies, and every woman on the earth who's just fabulous, is, you know, ask for what you want. Don't not ask for what you want. Make sure that whatever it is that you want from a man, you ask for it, and ask for it at the beginning. If you're halfway during that relationship and you're in an established relationship, then there's nothing wrong with saying, honey, something I'd like to talk about, and ask for what you want. And never, ever, ever think it's too late to set your standards, because when you start that date is the perfect time to set your standard, ask for what you want, and really establish a strong basis for a good, healthy relationship where two people understand one another. Expecting a man to read your mind and be intuitive about what you want is a bad mistake, because men just are not intuitive like that. They can't read our minds, they can't read between the lines, and the truth of the matter is, it's too much damn work. I'm like that. I wish, you know, if a guy just tells me what he wants, then it's straightforward. I know what's going to make him happy. So that's from me to you, saying, ask for what you want, when you want it, and how you want it. Just be clever with it. So take care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.